the fact that you can let go, but that you can also have hope, and you're stuck in the middle of either choosing one or the other, is a weird feeling. Anywho, good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, whatever it is for anyone out there watching this, listening to this, or just, I don't know, putting this on while you go to sleep, which is probably kind of cute. Wait, what? I don't know. It is currently 7:22 in the morning, September 2nd, Tuesday. I'm done with my work, and I just kind of wanted to yap a little bit. I like yapping in the car a lot, so I kind of do that quite a bit. So I just wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind recently, and I have to say it because it's just something that I keep going back to over and over and over again, and it's something I'm struggling with because I know it's something I'm going to have to do. It's a decision. I have to make a decision that I'm not ready to make, but I have to make it. And before we can get to what that decision could be, I do want to talk about what are the two deciding factors I have to choose between. And one of them is going to be called limbo, or one of them is going to be called hope, and the other one's going to be called letting go. And seeing those two, I think some people already know this is about love. This is about heartbreak, and yeah, it is, because I am currently going through one. I'm currently healing, and I'm currently kind of okay. I'm better now than I was, I guess you would say, 5 months ago, 4 months ago, 3 months ago, which I'm very happy about. And it wasn't an easy thing to do. But I've never really seen someone or anyone really talk about this state of limbo that you can be in. The fact that you can let go, but that you can also have hope, and you're stuck in the middle of either choosing one or the other, is a weird feeling. Because you eventually have to make a decision. Do you A, finally let go of the things that you've been holding on to, or do you B, still keep hoping and in the hopes that maybe something changes, maybe something happens, maybe, just maybe, even though deep down you do know what's gonna happen, you do know the reality, you do know what decision is going to have to be made. I don't know. And no one talks about, not wanting to choose either path and just wanting to stay in this limbo, in the in-between, where you don't have to hope, and you can have hope, and you can have the reality still right there. You just don't have to choose. And that's where I'm at right now, where I'm okay right now. That's why I say I'm okay, but I'm realizing that decision's gonna have to be made sooner or later. And whether or not I'm ready for it, it doesn't matter, because the time is ticking, the clock is ticking, the door is closing. You have to either, at the end of it, you have the decision you have to make. And by the time it's over, by the time you have to make the decision is already made for you. It either happened or it didn't. And that's that. And it's just a weird feeling that I have of being in this limbo, because even while I'm in this limbo, I'm not letting go of everything that I have just in the hopes that maybe I could just hope and hope and hope and hope and hope. No. Or maybe just letting go of everything and not caring about it at all. No, not either that. It's more of just I'm in this in between, and knowing that, yeah, it's gonna have to happen, and you know what? Maybe that's fine. But it's more knowing that maybe I also have hope. Maybe. But knowing that hope isn't really gonna sometimes work in your favor. It's just what aches. I don't know. I just find it weird. I find it weird that I like being in this limbo state more than knowing that if I get what I want, I'm not gonna like it, and if I don't get what I want, I'm also not gonna like it. So it's it's weird. It's very weird. It's just, I don't know. I really hope that that when the time comes, I'm ready for it, but I know deep down I'm not going to be. Because at the end of it, it's really something that no one's ready for, no matter who you are. And I don't know, I just hope that it's okay. Another thing here to note is that even then, even while I'm in this limbo state, I'm still not forgetting what this person meant to me, what this partner I had meant to me. And I'm not going to throw it all away and say, I'm gonna forget about you, or I'm gonna move on, or you know, I am moving on, but it's not like I'm gonna forget about everything that we did, everything that you've meant to me, and all that stuff. And I don't know how people can do that, because it's like you can't forget a person, no matter how hard you try. You can't forget someone. You can't just erase them from your life and pretend they never existed. You can't pretend like someone never existed, when in reality they did exist. They were part of your life. Whether or not you like it or not, you let them be part of your life. You let them be someone that meant a lot to you. You meant a lot to them, and they meant a lot to you. And no matter how hard you try to forget them, they'll always mean something to you. They were part of your journey, and you were part of theirs. And I can make it, it's yellow. I made it. Yeah, you were always part of someone's journey, and they were part of your journey. And what you do at the end kind of dictates who you are. Because for me, for every person that I've been with, for every partner that I've been with, it's funny because I kind of carry a little bit of them in myself, even in today's day and age. And as much as I'm like moving on, and as much as I'm doing other stuff, I kind of catch myself doing stuff that they did, or catching myself doing things that they did. And it's funny because every person that you've been with, or every person that you've kind of been around with, eventually, once enough time passes, you kind of get little things from them, little sayings, or things that they've said, or the way they said certain things, or nicknames they've given stuff. You'll catch those on, and you'll eventually put them in your own lingo, and you'll put them in your own vocab, your own vocabulary, your own dictionary, I guess you would say. Because all of these people make you who you are. Now, you can make yourself who you are, but you can't deny that some of these people that have been part of your life, your journey, who you've been with, whether that be a lover, a friend, a sibling, or I was going to say a relationship, but we've already just talked about that. It doesn't matter who. At the end of the day, you will carry stuff, sayings, phrases, memories, certain things that they did, certain things that they acted, how they acted, certain ways they did emotions, or anything like that sorts. You will catch yourself doing that at some point in time. Just like I've kind of caught myself doing that. For me, it's gotta have to be like the way they said certain things, or the way they'd acted in certain ways. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm not ashamed to be like, or in a rush to kind of ignore it, or in a rush to kind of being like, you know what, no, I'm gonna try my best to dodge that, to not be like that, to not still keep those ways and those sayings that they've said, or the way they said certain things. No. As a matter of fact, I kind of like it, because it's like they've kind of made me who I am. Now, there is some things I've had to let go, and that's the way that they've called certain things, and I can't call that anymore, and it's like I'd rather call it something else. And so instead, I kind of gave it a entirely different name. Just like I think it was the way they'd call a cat. the way they called the cat a totally different word, and I still remember it, but I just don't want to say it. I just can't catch. I also caught on to that, and I would also call a cat the same name that they'd call it. But eventually, after we separated, that name was used for something else or for someone else, and I didn't like that. So instead, I gave up with my own nickname, and eventually, that's kind of something that's caught on to me now, where I look at a cat and I call him a pipami, because it's something that means of significance to me, and I like it a lot. And so you will have to let go of certain things that they've said, but you will also carry some things that they've said, or carry some things that they've done, because again, they were part of your life and you were part of theirs. It's just the way it is. And I'm tired of people saying, I'm going to forget about you, or I'm going to move on and forget that you ever existed in my life. Yeah, move on, but don't forget that what this person meant to you, whether you guys ended on good or bad terms. And people have always said to me, how can you forgive someone after they've done something to you? And it's like, I can forgive someone that they've done to me as long as they didn't hurt me physically or hurt someone else physically. Because at the end of the day, what has happened between us is just we're just two people. We're just learning to live. We're just moving on in this life, and I'm not going to hold my grudges. I'm not going to hold anger or jealousy. Yeah, I'll hold it in the moment. Yeah, I'll do that. But eventually I'll let it go. Because at the end of the day, I'd rather forgive people rather than to hold these grudges till the end of my days. To be like, in 50 years from now, I hate this person because they did me wrong when I was in 5th grade. Like, no, like what? Why would I do that? I've heard some people do that. I've met with some friends recently and reconnected with people that are like, I don't like this person because of what they did to me in middle school. And it's like, middle school was like 8 years ago? What are you talking about? You haven't learned to let that go? It's like, no, I don't like them because of that. It's like, well, if you talk to them right now, like, and you were able to like talk to them seriously, would you, and they apologize for that, if you let them know about that and they apologize, would you let that go? They'd probably be like, yeah, maybe, or no. I'm like, what? Why not? People change. We all change. I don't understand people who can't learn to let certain things go. Now, granted, there is some things that you cannot let go of a person where, like, I don't want to get into it, but it's like physical, violence or physical hurt. I am fully 100% in agreement with, like, you cannot learn to forgive someone for that. And that's totally fine. That is totally fine. But when it comes to like emotional hurt, sometimes, if it's really bad, if it's really hurtful, I can understand for people who can't learn to let that go. But for me, I always, even if it hurts so bad, I always learn to let it go, because I don't know. It's how I've been raised. My dad's always told me, and this is between me and my siblings, that even if you guys get into a big fight, even if you guys, get into a big fight, you guys don't talk to each other, learn to let certain stuff go and learn to move on. Learn to, at the end of the day, that you guys can still see each other and hug it out and, move on with your lives from whatever problem or situation that you guys are currently facing against each other. And I kind of not only, applied that to my brother, my younger brother. I also applied that to relationships and friendships, because it's like, you could have done the worst thing to me, and you probably did, but I'm going to take that, and I'm going to thank you for it, and I'm going to say, you know what, it sucks, but I forgive you. And the amount of times I've done that, and the person at the receiving end just starts crying, or the person at the receiving end just is apologetic so much to the point that they're like, you shouldn't forgive me. Why are you forgiving me? Why are you apologizing? Why are you saying you're sorry and you're gonna forgive me? It's like, because I don't I don't feel like yeah, I feel hurt, but eventually it's going to be a lesson, and eventually, you know, it's going to be something that I'll look back at and I'll be like, you know what? It sucked, but it made me a better person, or it sucked and I learned from it, or it sucked and it made me realize a couple things, and you know what? I'm grateful for that. And you're not a terrible person. You're not a bad person. But I wish you nothing but the best. And that for me is how I forgive people. And many people are always like, I don't know how you could do that. And it's like, I don't know either. But I do know one thing. I like forgiving. Because at the end of the day, I don't hold grudges against anyone. Because I just feel like that just makes you a worse person.